Out at the club field. It's a pretty nice morning. Not bad at all. Let me just try and get that centered a bit more. Early morning. Little bit of ground mist. Don't believe there's any mist significantly in the sky. Humid as anything. Going to be warm later on, but not too bad at the moment. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to try is this little, it's a little trainer thing, Volantex Mini Trainstar. I bought this, to be honest, a while ago, but I haven't got round to doing anything with it because I've been so busy with other stuff this year. Comes with its own little sort of toy grade transmitter, so we'll put it's got stabilization, which we'll leave on initially, but I don't really see what you need stabilization with a little 3-channel trainer, but okay. And this is the battery that came with it. It's I think 180 milliamp hour sort of pencil type battery with a Model X connector. I was looking. There's various other ways I can use batteries with it. I've got adapters that allow me to use MCPX batteries as Model X, and I've got a bunch of these little pencil batteries in MCPX. I was just giving it a moment in case it needs it for its stabilization. Whoa. It's got fairly big throws and way the heck more throw to the right than to the left, apparently. I mean, it stays in the middle more or less, but it's got way more flow to the right. Oh, terrific. And the elevator doesn't seem to be working at all. So it was sort of stuck. There's some sort of a... Well, it's working now. The rod was stuck. Oh, you have to put the ESC all the way up to the top to arm it. So it's armed now. Oh yeah, and there's the stabilization, and we put it off now. We'll put it back on for the moment, I think. Got it enough chatter. Although, as I say, I mean, it's a tiny little thing, and it's only 3 channels, so I don't really see why you need stabilization, particularly for it, but nonetheless. Am I going to be able to take off without hitting that grass? Oh, we'll see, won't we? Yes. And this is, I guess, designed to give things like the WLToys F959. No, 949, isn't it? I think the little Cessna one. And I think the 59's the glider, isn't it? I can't remember. That little Cessna, that little 3-channel Cessna from WLToys, I fly all the time. And it's a fun little thing to throw up anywhere, and that doesn't have any stabilization, doesn't need it, and that takes a fairly big battery. It also takes a Model X battery, but it comes with a 500, and you can easily put a 750 in it, and it'll fly like forever. Okay, let's turn the stabilization off. Whoa, well, it's certainly less stable without the stabilization. It is fairly flighty without the stabilization because it's basically because the control throws are fairly high, and it's fairly stable if you let it stabilize, but it's got rather strong control throws. So it's got rather strong control throws, so a small movement of the stick jerks it all over the place. which is not true of the WLToys one. The old WLToys one is fairly gentle all round. This is not gentle, but as I say, it's not because it's unstable. It's a high-wing plane. It's inherently stable. It's a high-wing plane with dihedral. It's inherently stable. It's just that it doesn't have any throw adjustment, and it has really high control throw. So I'm barely moving the stick. You move the stick like a tiny, it'll loop. Well, you move the stick a tiny amount, and it's definitely not as restful to fly in non-stabilized mode as the F949. Because, say, you move the stick like a tiny, tiny, tiny amount, and the thing jerks all over the place, because they've got like massive control throws. I wonder if you could reduce those by moving the control rods. I don't remember where they've got the control rods. I think they have the control rods in the outermost thing, which is the least sensitive anyway, isn't it? In which case there's nothing much you can do about it. Yeah, it's certainly, it's a very inherently stable plane. You center the sticks and it centers itself more or less because, it's high wing and whatever. And it's got dihedral, but I'm also using 50% or less power most of the time. It's got plenty of power, except when I was looping and things, it's got plenty of power to go faster. I prefer to keep it higher because of the jerkiness of it. It is very easy to throw it off because of the God, it's jerky. Yeah, because of the extreme jerkiness, especially that right rudder, as you could see when I was testing it on the bench. The rudder goes crazy when you pull it to the right, especially not so much to the left, but to the right. The throw on the rudder is ridiculous. It sticks out at almost 90 degrees if you're not careful. So it's not surprising it jerks the plane round, rather. But you certainly can't complain. Okay, I'm going to put the stabilization back on for a minute. Yeah, stabilization on naturally. It's just like a sort of, steer it sort of thing. Bit of a breeze catching it there as well. And that's just breeze. What does the intermediate mode do? I don't know quite what the intermediate mode is supposed to do. It's less stabilization. But I don't really quite understand what this is what they call the intermediate mode. It's going a little slower. I wonder if I'm running the battery towards its end. Can you loop it in intermediate mode? Yes. So intermediate mode is clearly not a totally self-leveling mode because you can in fact loop it in intermediate mode. Wasn't a very elegant loop, admittedly, but it went over. So I'm not quite sure what intermediate mode is. Maybe it's more like AS3X, I don't know, some kind of anti-wind stabilization, but it also seems to maybe reduce your control throws a bit because it's a lot less jerky in this mode, sorry. It's still a bit jerky though, but less jerky. It also seems to me it's almost limiting your throttle in this mode. It seems like I don't have a lot of throttle in this mode. Even when I push the throttle all the way up, it doesn't... it's partially why the loop is falling over like that rather than climbing, because it doesn't have the throttle to climb in that mode. Take the stabilization off completely again a minute. It's not very big. Oh, I'm going to put the stabilization back on because I'm getting somewhere I can't see the thing. come back here. That is always the problem with these little things, that you cannot see them really at any distance away, and you can't see the things. And I guess my eyesight doesn't get any better as I get older. Yeah, I don't know. Even in this mode I seem to be having trouble looping now, so maybe we're just running the battery down. Maybe we should come in and land it, because it seems to be kind of running out of power a little bit now, because it's not going to land worth a damn on this grass, obviously, with those little wheels. I took it off on the table. I'm going to try and land it on the table. Cartwheel landing. Well, you know, it's as good as anything. What you're going to do, trying to land something like this on the grass, it's obviously not going to do it. Just trying to throw the water off the propeller a bit now. I bought it from Banggood. You can buy it from anywhere. Tom Top, probably Gear Best, whatever. About $60, I think it was. And that's Canadian. I'm Canadian, so I'm talking Canadian money. Take these threads off. Anyway. So there you are. First try, so have to get used to it. I wouldn't, so far, based on that, I wouldn't go for it over the I'd stay with the WLToys 949. The WLToys is a little bit bigger, not a lot bigger, but it's a little bit bigger. Doesn't have any stabilization, doesn't need it, but can do loops and things perfectly handily. So my initial feeling is that this is not going to displace the WLToys in my affections, but it's a perfectly nice little trainer. Certainly nothing wrong with it as a plane to, a first plane for somebody. Anybody should be able to fly it in stabilized mode. You get it high enough and try it in unstabilized mode. I can't check this single-cell battery here. I'll have to see when I get home what the level on the battery is after that. It might seem maybe the motor is getting a little bit less powerful.